A lot of people have been asking me to explain how to do this. So let's start off by saying, the examine option for the granite maul, simplicity is the best weapon, is a fucking lie! It's the most fucking complicated weapon in the game. A lot of new PKs think, clicky specky twice, specky go off twice, blah blah blah, but it's so much more complicated. This is why all the high-risk fighters call granite maul a zero-tick weapon. What the fuck is a zero-tick weapon? This essentially means it will go off no matter what you are doing in the game, as long as you double-click spec and click the player. No matter what the fuck is going on, you will spec them and they will be mush. But that isn't the important part when it comes to God Sword Whack or Whip Whack. Now let me show you a little bit more. Okay, bam! Now we're here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to do a God Sword Whack, double G maul. Why did nothing happen? Well, that's because I recently found out, maybe like this year, 2019, I recently found out, for some reason, if you double-click G maul, it doesn't go off after a God Sword Whack. That's strange, right? So, when you're doing a God Sword Whack double G maul, you don't do God Sword Whack, wait for XP drop, and then click double G maul, because that's going to lead into that delay, and they can eat through it, and it doesn't stack very beautifully, and you're slow. The correct way to do it is actually do a God Sword Whack, don't even look at the hit or the XP drop, always click G maul, double click spec, then you can look at the XP drop or the hit, and all you need to do from that point is click them once, and it's going to double G maul. So in theory, all you do is every single God Sword Whack, doesn't matter how good or bad it is, you will always double click G maul spec ready to go. So, oh god, I really should have ate on the main. Oh no, fucked it now. So this next God Sword Whack, we're going to say it's like a 50 into double G maul, click. So if you look there, I clicked the double G maul, and if that God Sword wasn't going to be a 50, as long as I double clicked G maul and didn't click the person, it wouldn't have gone off. But in this test, we just pretended the God Sword was a 50, we were ready to G maul, but because we preloaded the double specs no matter what, the only extra step is click the person. So if that God Sword was a shit one, let me just reset spec and that, we'll be back in a second. God, I really wish there was an easier way to get spec back for this. Fuck this shit game. Alright, we're back, goddamn. So we're going to do the first God Sword as a bad God Sword, so we didn't G maul. Then this one, we're going to pretend it's a good one. We're going to go, good G maul, click. So all we had to do on the good AGS for the G maul was the extra click. So every single God Sword swing you do, you'll always be preloading that G maul with the double click. There's a few traps that I fell for quite a while. Okay, so this is the #1 trap I always fell for because there's no guides out there teaching you this stuff, so I had to just trial and error and ask friends and try and piece information together. So I'm making this goddamn video. #1 trap I kept falling for is if you God Sword Whack into G maul but accidentally triple click, especially in high pressure scenarios, and you triple click it, it'll go off on its own no matter what. And that was the biggest fall that I just consistently kept falling for. Because obviously, you know, you're a bit panicky, especially if you're doing movement in wild, and you've got someone who's like G-mauling you as well, you know, you're looking at your health. It's a high pressure situation. Sometimes you'll accidentally triple click and it'll go off on its own. See, that was a triple click. But just make sure you always double click, focus on double clicks, always, never triples, and then it will never go off on its own, and then you can read the XP drop. Another trap I kept falling for was on PID, the God Sword swing XP drop as well as the hit will show at the exact same time. Off PID, the XP drop will show way before. See that? Perfect time. So if you're doing a G maul double on PID, always look at the hit. Don't focus on the XP drop because it's the exact same timing. It's just easier to focus on the hit because you're going to be focusing on that click if it's a good XP drop, right? But off PID, if it's a bad XP drop, you'll only know that by looking at the XP drop because the XP drop shows before the hit. So, on PID, look at the number. Off PID, you have to look at the XP drop. But you should always be specking on PID anyway, but come on. With PKers, we know sometimes they'll have PID for what seems 4.5 hours and you can't fucking get PID in their PID gods and you're forced to just send it off PID. So, yes, again, off PID, you hit, look at the damage. On PID, look at the damage. Off PID, look at the XP drop. That's just how it works. And the last one I kept falling for, people kept telling me to wait a game tick and then double click maul, and that completely just kept throwing me off, and it had that delay in between, and it just looked gross. Just keep in mind, there is absolutely no minimum time you have to wait before double clicking that G maul. Okay, so with whips or Sora swords, I'm going to use a Sora sword because I'm a pure, but it's the exact same with a whip. There is absolutely no difference. Every single attack, you double click G maul. and you don't click them until you get a good XP drop. This one's going to be a 300 XP drop. It's not, because it's a main, but... So it's the exact same of a whip, exact same of a god sword, exact same of a rubber chicken if it had a spec bar, so it's not the exact same. It's the exact same with an MSB, even. You know? No, do I know? Do even I know? I don't think even I know. But the point is, every single whack with, whether it be a whip, whether it be a Sorrow Sword, or whether it's a God Sword whack, even if you're not going to go for it, you'll always double click that G maul. Because it won't go off until you click the player. You'll just stand there with it in your hand. Think of it as like a preload. Every single God Sword whack into double G maul, that's a preload G maul that's not going off. And all you have to do to make it go off is single click that person, single click the player, and it's going to and double click. So it's just a lot quicker than doing God Sword whack, wait for the God Sword whack, look at the XP and then double click. It's just quicker. You're essentially preloading a spec every single time. It's very nice how everyone that's good at the game does it, really. So yeah. As always, got some real world examples here showing you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's hit play. Right now, I've hit the God Sword. I've God Sword clicked him. I've double clicked the maul. Right now, I'm looking at this 44. So if you remember, I've double clicked G maul and I've noticed the 44. So can you see that red X, red click? I've clicked on him. The God Sword's ready to go. Press play. Dead. Very nice. Alright, so I've got another example here. This one's off PID, but it's the exact same situation. So if you noticed, I have to look at this XP drop, but right now I'm not focusing on that. Right now I'm focusing on the G maul double click. The G maul's been double clicked. I've noticed the XP drop at this point. Next click, I've clicked him, and boom. Well, no, well, it's not my PID, so give it a second. Boom, there it is. This is why, obviously, you always spec on PID, because look at that. Did you see all that chance he had to eat in between the G maul and God Sword? God damn it. But listen, sometimes you just send a spec off PID, but because he wasn't really paying attention, he went for the blister. It's the exact same result. He didn't get a single eat in. So we've double-clicked the spec. We've clicked him on the 241 XP drop, and good fight. Nice little stack there. If I wouldn't have double-clicked the G maul and waited, especially off PID, if I would have waited to click that G maul after seeing the XP drop, especially off PID, that would not have stacked at all, and it would have had like 2 seconds to eat. So yeah, the double-click G maul, no matter what, and then click the player if you see a good XP drop / hit is so much stronger just because of that, especially off PID. I would advise doing so. Okay, one last real world situation here, because I don't do the first one and then I go for the second one. So if you see here, I clicked the AGS, I clicked the double G maul just like always. Didn't want to go for it. I don't know why. For some reason I didn't go for this. I didn't though. Maybe I thought I saw some lower hit than it was. Fuck no, I didn't go for it. I went to click the arrow and not go for it. But it serves as a good point that it didn't go off as long as I didn't click him, so this is a good little case point video to use. Next one, I see the 41, I've double clicked the G maul. For some reason I like this hit, but not the other one. So all that's left to do is, after we've double clicked the G maul, is click him once, which we do right there. We're going to unpause again, bleh, dead. Bleh. So gross. All of that math amount of damage on him, especially on PID. The window to eat this is so small, most people can't get an eaten. Now the reason why I like God Sword whack G maul more than double G maul into God Sword whack is because a good PKer will always know to tank the G maul and triple the whack. When you're doing something like this, the window is so much smaller to eat that even a good PKer will still fail to eat this 9 out of 10 times. You pretty much have to pre-eat the God Sword as if the G maul in every single time, but can you do that more than 4 times unless you're the guy who brings 3 brews? I don't really think so. So this, in my opinion, is just so much stronger than double G maul into whack. Unless you've got some insane RNG on the 25 arrow to double 40 maul to kill him that way, I just think this is better. I could be wrong, but this is just my personal opinion, that this fucking absolute monster is just so much better, especially for the RKOs. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this, hopefully you've learned something. If you have, make sure you hit the like button and say some of the comments. If you dislike, hit the dislike and call me a comment in the comments. So go, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. I love you all. No kappa, seriously. I'm going to put the cap right on. The fuck am I saying right now? I'm just going to keep talking till the video ends in about 3 seconds. So basically, well, how's your day going? Okay, bye.